Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel on the college process. Once again, I'm Ed from Principia Prep, and today we're going to be going over what can you use your 529 college savings for and what can you not use it for. But if you're new to the channel and are looking for additional college content, please hit the subscription button down below. It will notify you when new videos do come out. As well, if you have any comments or questions throughout today's video, please leave them down below. I do answer all your comments or questions you guys leave here on the channel. As well as if you do enjoy today's video, please leave us a like. It does help the channel. And once again, we are running the James Lewis Memorial Scholarship for this year's senior class. If you want to be eligible for this year's senior class scholarship, very simple. In the description down below is the link for this video here to explain to you guys how to apply for our organization's scholarship for seniors for this year's senior class. As well as also in the description down below, we also have the organization's Venmo, as well as our Buy Us a Coffee, if you want to help support the channel, allowing us to keep making these college videos for you guys out there. And all of that being said, let's jump right into today's video. What can you use your 529 college savings for and what can you not use it for? So right off the bat, obviously I've been making a couple videos here about the 529 plans for families out there to kind of explain how the whole 529 plan works and the benefits and everything else. If you didn't see that video before, explain what a 529 plan is and its benefits, once again, I would watch. Here's the video. It's in obviously the description down below is a link for that video. But that being said, I had a lot of parents asking me, what can we use the 529 plans for and what can we not use them for? So I decided to make this video here to kind of give you guys a broader sense of what is possible and what is not. And the reason I'm making this video is because a lot of families have the perception that you can use the 529 plans for anything based on the school's cost of attendance. Now, it is somewhat right, but it's actually not completely right. Now, if you're not sure if you don't know what cost of attendance is basically what the school costs entirely for one academic year. And obviously when it comes to cost of attendance, since it does incorporate all the costs of the colleges for that 1 year, the tuition, the room and board, the books, the transportation, fees, so on and so forth, the insurance, and everything in between, most families think, well, it's a college expense essentially, but it's not the way it works, to be honest with you. Just because a school gives you the cost of attendance, showing all the breakdown of all the different expenses for that year, both direct costs from you to the college that you're paying and the indirect costs from the college that you're paying yourself, not to them directly, it doesn't mean that all these costs can be covered with your 529 plan. So let me go over all the different aspects of what you can use your 529 plan for and what you can't use your 529 plan for. And what I mean by what you can and can't, I mean which are qualified expenses which you won't be penalized by the IRS essentially, and which are not qualified expenses that you will be penalized for the IRS for using these funds for. And now right off the bat, right here, you can see here, I basically have a breakdown of which expenses can and cannot be used that most families utilize or think about are college expenses. Now, right at the top, we're talking about tuition. Now, when it comes to tuition and fees, you can use your 529 plan to pay for any colleges or apprenticeship programs tuition. You can also use it for K through 12 up to $10,000. That's the max per year. So essentially, if you guys were looking at a private high school, as an example here, and you guys had a tuition cost of $18,000 and you took out $18,000 from your 529 plan to pay that school, essentially what you've done is you paid $8,000 from the 529 plan too much that you were allowed. So essentially what's going to happen is you're going to get penalized on that $8,000. The IRS is going to want a piece of that money because of the fact that you guys didn't use the $10,000 max, you went over it. Now for colleges or apprenticeship programs, there is no going over. As long as you go up to the cost of the tuition and the fees, you're fine. So the school's tuition is $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 for the tuition, doesn't matter because the schools, for the colleges, tuition does not have a limit here. And here's also, the next two here is also where parents sometimes get in trouble. As far as books, supplies, computers, etc. Now, the way it works is if your student has a syllabus indicating they need a certain amount of books, let's say English 101 needs a book on literature, and your student goes and buys that literature book and then sees another book next to it for Shakespeare that is not on the syllabus, and they elect to buy the syllabus book as well as a Shakespeare book, you cannot use the 529 plan for the Shakespeare's book because it's not on the syllabus, it's not required by that class. That is where you guys get in trouble. As well as when it comes to computers and software. If you guys go out and buy a laptop, perfectly fine, no issue as far as the college situation is concerned for college expenses. Or if you go out and buy software like Excel or Word processing because of the fact that you need those for the classes, perfectly fine. The problem becomes if your student elects to, they see a video game they like they can put on their computer, That video game is not part of the syllabus, it's not part of the college whatsoever. That video game, your 529 money, cannot be used for it. Or if your student wants to buy software for something they do as a hobby, like making videos or doing graphic design, and they're not utilizing that for a program in the college, that software you just bought is not part of the 529 plan as far as the qualified expenses. You cannot write this off essentially. This is going to get you guys penalized essentially. And this also, by the way, for K through 12, no K through 12 books, no K through 12 laptop, no supplies, no nothing. You guys do not have any qualified expenses other than tuition for K through 12. Now, when it comes to special equipment, it depends on your student. If your student does have any disabilities or any issues that the college cannot resolve and they need you to pay extra money for these special needs, then you can utilize this on the college level for the 529 plan to be utilized as a qualified expense. Which brings us to transportation. Now, this is what I meant in the beginning of the video by cost of attendance, because in the school and the university, they do count as part of your budget transportation to the college in the fall and then transportation to the college in the spring. This cannot be used from the 529 plan to pay for. So you cannot use a 529 plan for flights or gas or a car or transportation of any kind to get to the college. This is one of those things I talk about where students and parents aren't quite sure. So transportation to the college, obviously to K through 12, obviously not involved as well. No 529 plan money can use for as far as a qualified expense. If you guys are looking at transportation, this does not count. Also, when it comes to health insurance, once again, this is something that is part of the school's cost of attendance, but it does not count as a 529 expense that they will let you use the money for. So you cannot use the money for the student's health insurance, essentially, which is once again part of the cost of attendance for a college, but the 529 plan does not let you use it for that. And in addition to that, some parents and students think out there, well, if we're applying to the college and we're doing applications through Common App or Coalition, or if I'm setting up the SAT or ACT and I'm basically looking to pay the fees for the applications and everything else, you cannot use your 529 money for this at all, believe it or not. Even though it's technically utilized to get you into college, essentially, it's not allowed through the qualified expenses of what you can and cannot use your 529 plan, which I know is kind of mind-blowing for most families out there. Is also mind-blowing for me as well, that they haven't actually put this on there, that the SATs and ACTs and everything else as far as college applications can be utilized as a qualifying expense because of the fact that you have to pay these things to be able to get into the college, but unfortunately, they do not count them as qualified expenses. And then the last thing that pops up is obviously the student loans. Now, obviously here nowadays, because of the Secure Act back in 2019, you are able to use your 529 money up to $10,000 to pay back student loans. Now, this is a lifetime amount, so it's the max you can utilize is $10,000 from the 529 plan. So right here are all the different items that a lot of families utilize or look for to utilize to pay for with their 529 plan funds. But unfortunately, the 529 plan is not able to be used for all of these items, even though it's part of the cost of attendance. Not all of them are able to be utilized and qualified for you guys not to get penalized by the IRS. And all that being said, if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down below in the comment section. I do answer all your comments and questions you guys leave here on the channel. As well as if you did enjoy today's video, please leave us a like. It does help the channel. As well as on the screen is my contact information. If you guys need help with the process in any way, admissions, financial aid, or so on and so forth, that's my cell phone number. The easiest way to get a hold of me, by the way, is text message. You can also email me as well.